Cho, and welcome to your UPSC news analysis for the 24th of April, 2025. Today, we're doing a deep dive into some really important current affairs. We'll break down what you need to know, explain the fundamental ideas, and really pinpoint what's relevant for your mains exam. Everything we discuss will have that crucial Indian perspective, keeping your preparation front and center.
Hanji. And today's exploration will take us through quite a diverse set of developments, actually. We'll be looking at the complexities of international relations, particularly with the Indus Waters Treaty, also India's strategic moves concerning vital minerals and pretty forward-thinking policy shifts within government bodies, and significant progress in both technology and environmental conservation, with a special focus on Karnataka this time. Our aim is to extract the most essential insights from all these areas, giving you a solid, yet hopefully easy-to-grasp overview for your studies.
Fikai. Let's start by unpacking something significant happening on the international stage. The Indus Waters Treaty with Pakistan is, well, according to reports, in a state of pause. Now, for those focusing on prelims, this treaty, signed way back in 1960, brokered by the World Bank, it's absolutely key. It's what divides the 6 rivers of the Indus Basin between India and Pakistan.
That's right. India gets control over the eastern rivers, that's the Beas, Ravi, and Sutlej, while Pakistan manages the western ones, the Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab.
Right. And we also have the Permanent Indus Commission, the PIC, and various mechanisms for resolving disagreements, like a neutral expert or even a court of arbitration.
What's truly remarkable about this treaty is its historical resilience. It's really weathered multiple conflicts between India and Pakistan. One could argue its success, despite such, well, turbulent relations. It stems from continuous, even if sometimes strained, dialogue, often facilitated by the World Bank, and a shared kind of pragmatic understanding of the potentially devastating consequences of a full-blown water conflict, this priority of mutual survival. It offers a valuable lesson, I think, for other transboundary resource disputes.
Bilkul Sahi, absolutely right. So what's causing this holdup now? It appears to be a combination of ongoing geopolitical tensions and, as per reports, maybe a lack of consistent cooperation from Pakistan over the years. India has specifically highlighted Pakistan's repeated objections to Indian hydropower projects like Kishanga and Radal. That's a major point of contention. And it seems India is now reevaluating the treaty. There's talk about potential renegotiation, or even considering Article 62 of the Vienna Convention, the one about a fundamental change in circumstances, as a possible way forward. For your prelims, definitely keep that Vienna Convention point in mind.
In connecting this to the bigger picture, this situation really brings up a crucial question about the future of water diplomacy in our subcontinent, doesn't it? Pakistan's reservations about India's projects. Even as India maintains these are within the treaty's provisions, there's run-of-the-river projects. It just underscores the inherent complexities of managing water resources that cross international borders. For your mains, think about the diverse stakeholders involved here. The governments, obviously, but also the local communities whose lives and livelihoods depend on the Indus Basin and the World Bank, given its significant role as a guarantor. The potential implications are quite broad, geopolitical strain, environmental effects, debates on international law, ethical considerations, sovereignty versus cooperation. It's all in there.
So, what's the likely direction from here? What's the way forward? Diplomatic engagement seems, well, crucial, right? Perhaps reinitiating discussions under a neutral facilitator could be beneficial. India is also clearly focusing on maximizing the use of its allocated share of the eastern rivers. That seems clear. And it certainly appears that being legally prepared for potential international arbitration is a strong possibility. Ultimately, leveraging water diplomacy effectively could pave a path towards greater regional peace in South Asia.
A very complex situation indeed.
Okay, now, let's switch focus to another very important resource: rare earth elements. It seems India is putting in place a strategy to sort of challenge China's dominance in this sector. For those who might not be completely familiar, rare earth elements, or REEs, are a group of 17 metallic elements. They're absolutely essential for a vast range of modern technologies, electronics, powerful magnets, advanced batteries, defense equipment, and green tech, like wind turbines and electric vehicles. They fall under that broader category of critical minerals.
Exactly. Those minerals that are vital for economic progress and national security, but are also susceptible to supply chain disruptions. And what's truly striking here is the sheer extent of China's current control. They account for over 60% of global production of REs.
60%.
Yeah. And an even more significant 90% of the refining capacity.
Wow.
This near monopoly creates a considerable strategic vulnerability for many countries, including India, especially as the world moves towards cleaner tech that relies heavily on these elements. The challenge isn't just mining, it's the complex, often environmentally tricky, chemical processes needed to separate and purify these 17 elements. China's invested heavily there for decades.
Absolutely. So India's emerging strategy is centered on reducing this critical dependence. This involves significantly boosting domestic exploration and production, encouraging robust public-private partnerships in both mining and, crucially, the refining processes, and developing our own comprehensive processing infrastructure. This strategic direction very much aligns with that growing global trend of de-risking vital supply chains, especially
Right.
given current geopolitics.
Right. And for your prelims, some key examples of REs to remember might be neodymium and dysprosium. Also, it's important to note, India's known reserves are mainly in states like Andhra Pradesh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, and the main governing agency is Indian Rare Earths Ltd, or IRL, under the Department of Atomic Energy.
Okay.
And keep an eye out for reports on critical minerals from Niti Aayog or the Ministry of Mines.
So connecting this to the bigger picture, India has potential, right? Reserves are there. But we've lagged in refining and processing.
Exactly. And the challenges are multifaceted. Environmental risks from mining and refining, the technology gap, the sheer capital needed, and geopolitics, like potential export restrictions from China. It's all part of the mix. But on the flip side, this situation also presents some very significant opportunities for India. A major boost for Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat, greater security for India's own green energy transition. And it could foster stronger strategic partnerships, Quad countries focusing on tech and resource sharing. Beyond strategy, successfully tackling China's dominance also means huge economic opportunities, high-value jobs in manufacturing and tech.
Hell, what does this all mean for the way forward? What needs to happen? It seems substantial investments in R&D are crucial, right? Especially for efficient, clean separation and processing.
Absolutely. And developing green mining frameworks to minimize ecological impact. That's key. Forming strong international collaborations for technology and expertise. Also vital.
And India seems to be considering strategic stockpiles like we do with oil, plus a comprehensive critical minerals policy.
Yes, that seems likely. And importantly, integrating mining development with sustainable development in tribal areas where many reserves are located. That needs careful handling.
Right, okay. Let's shift our attention now to some interesting developments in governance and policy. Both the UPSC and the Karnataka Public Service Commission, KPSC, have reportedly introduced a policy granting 6 days of annual menstrual leave to their women employees. Menstrual leave, just to clarify, essentially provides time off work during menstruation without penalty.
What's truly significant here, I think, is the formal recognition of biological realities within such prominent public service organizations. Menstrual health has historically been, well, a topic burdened by stigma, particularly in institutional settings. This policy is a progressive step towards greater gender sensitivity in the workplace. It aims to promote women's health and inclusivity in these key government bodies. Now, there might be a risk of reinforcing stereotypes, but framing it as a necessary accommodation, like other leave, and pairing it with awareness campaigns and flexible work options that could mitigate those concerns. We've seen that work elsewhere.
Bilkul Sahi. For your prelims, it's worth remembering Bihar was actually the first state to implement a form of this way back in 1992. More recently, we've seen some private companies like Zomato, schools in Kerala, even proposals in the Delhi High Court.
Hmm.
It's important to remember, though, there's no central law mandating this across all sectors yet. It's largely organizational discretion. This trend aligns with broader frameworks like the POSH Act, Maternity Benefit Act, and SDG 5 on gender equality.
And connecting this to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
While it's certainly a positive move, it does raise some important issues. The potential, however unintended, to reinforce stereotypes if not implemented thoughtfully with destigmatization efforts.
Right.
The current lack of similar provisions in the private sector creates a disparity, and we might see some resistance from more conservative viewpoints. But the potential positives are substantial. Improved well-being, maybe reduced absenteeism, a big step for gender equity in government service. Stakeholders, employees, policymakers watching closely, women's groups, unions, quite a few.
What seems to be the likely way forward from here? This could spark a wider national debate, right, about broader legislation.
Quite possibly. And comprehensive awareness campaigns to destigmatize menstruation in all workplaces would be highly beneficial.
Plus, maybe more research on the impact on health and productivity.
Definitely needed. And exploring flexible work policies as alternatives or supplements could also help build a more inclusive culture.
Okay, moving on. The Supreme Court has reportedly given the green light for fresh appointments to head various tribunals. For prelims prep, tribunals are quasi-judicial bodies under Articles 323A and 323B set up for specific disputes.
Yeah, what's crucial about tribunals is their intended role. They were meant to provide specialized and hopefully faster resolution for disputes, things like tax, environment, administrative matters, easing the burden on regular courts. But their effectiveness really hinges on proper functioning, timely appointments of qualified people and safeguarding their independence.
Exactly. This recent news highlights the SC allowing the center to proceed with appointments after a long period of vacancies. Due to legal challenges and delays, the court clearly emphasized timely appointments and, crucially, upholding the independence of these tribunals. For prelims, remember Articles 323A, 323B, key tribunals like NGT, CAT, IT, and maybe recall significant SC cases like Roger Matthew and the Madras Bar Association cases. They dealt with tribunal powers.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, the vacancy issue has been a major concern. It often made tribunals non-functional, hindering access to justice. Executive delays in appointments often drew criticism, raising concerns about judicial independence. Challenges tribunals face include ensuring functional autonomy finance, staff, infrastructure, not just judicial decisions. Also, inconsistent service terms for members, limited appeal avenues in some cases. But their significance lies in potential for speedy, specialized justice, reducing court load, offering expert judgments. Stakeholders involve the government, judiciary, litigants, tribunal members, and the legal community.
What does the path forward look like? Seems like a transparent, time-bound appointment process is essential.
Absolutely. And ensuring genuine functional autonomy finances, staff, infra, that's crucial.
Periodically reviewing the number and scope of tribunals to avoid redundancy. That sounds sensible too.
Yes, and ultimately strengthening accountability without compromising their independence. It's a balancing act.
Okay, now let's address a growing concern in our digital world: deepfakes. The center is reportedly proposing new digital rules to tackle this. Deepfakes, just to be clear, are AI-generated media videos, audio that deceptively alters someone's appearance, voice, or actions, created using advanced stuff like deep learning, a type of AI.
Right. Deep learning algorithms analyze vast amounts of real data to learn characteristics, facial features, voice patterns. Then generative AI uses that to create new, manipulated content that can look remarkably real.
What makes them so worrying is their potential to spread misinformation and erode public trust on a massive scale.
Yeah, the rapid advances in generative AI make it increasingly hard to tell real from fake, a serious challenge for information integrity in public discourse. We've already seen misuse in political campaigns, impersonating public figures.
Yeah.
It can distort perception, undermine democracy.
Absolutely. The new proposed rules are looking at amending the IT Rules 2021. Key proposals include making platforms mandatorily identify and remove deepfake content, empowering official fact-checkers to flag manipulated media, and holding platforms accountable with penalties for inaction. This growing concern is driven by potential misuse in elections, scams, defamation, spreading harmful misinformation with real-world consequences. For prelims, understand deep learning, generative AI. No legal provisions like IT Act Section 69A, IT Rules 2021. Key institutions like MAIDI, CERT-IN.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, the sophistication and spread of deepfakes present a complex challenge with far-reaching implications. We've seen documented misuse in campaigns, impersonations, demonstrating the potential to distort perception, undermine democratic processes. Concerns are multifaceted. Privacy violations, especially non-consensual intimate deepfakes targeting women, the broader threat to election integrity, and the current lack of preparedness to counter them effectively. Internationally, the U.S. has started criminalizing deepfake use, especially in elections. The EU's AI Act aims for transparency in AI content.
Right.
For India, the challenge is balancing regulation with free speech, platform accountability versus innovation, and building enforcement expertise.
So what does the way forward look like? Seems like a comprehensive legal framework specifically for AI content is needed urgently, right? Clear definitions, liabilities for misuse.
Definitely. Encouraging self-regulation and ethical AI codes among platforms could also help a lot.
Launching broad public awareness campaigns teaching people to spot fakes seems crucial too.
Absolutely. and strengthening international cooperation, given the Internet's borderless nature.
And finally, empowering our cybercrime cells and judiciary with resources and expertise to investigate and prosecute. That creates a real deterrent.
A multi-pronged approach is definitely needed.
Okay, let's shift attention again this time to the Supreme Court seeking the center's response on reviewing the sedition law. For prelims prep, sedition is under Section 124A of the Indian Penal Code. It basically criminalizes acts bringing hatred or contempt or exciting disaffection towards the government established by law, a colonial-era law.
What's particularly significant historically about 124A is its origin in British rule, used extensively to suppress the independence movement and silence freedom fighters. Critics today often argue its broad, vague definition makes it prone to misuse by the state, and that it fundamentally stifles legitimate dissent, which is, a cornerstone of any healthy democracy.
Absolutely. The SC has formally asked the center for a fresh response to petitions challenging the law's validity. The court wants to know the center's current stance: retain, amend, or repeal, especially given misuse concerns and the SC putting it in abeyance in 2022.
Right.
For prelims, remember IPC Section 124A, punishment up to life imprisonment, relevant cases like Kedarnath Singh.
Where the SC upheld it but limited application to incitement to violence.
Exactly. And Shreya Singhal on free speech online. And the relevant articles: 19-1000A for free speech, 19-2 for reasonable restrictions, and Article 32 for constitutional remedies.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, sedition law has been intensely debated in recent years. Serious concerns about its alleged misuse against journalists, activists, students, often just for criticizing government policies. Despite a seemingly low conviction rate, its existence and application are seen as tools for harassment, stifling dissent. Arguments for retaining it often cite national security, controlling anti-national narratives. But the judicial stance, especially the SCA recently, has increasingly questioned its arbitrary use, hinting at potential constitutional issues in a modern democracy.
So what are the potential ways forward here? It's complex, seems like a few paths. Complete repeal of 124A.
That's one option. Or significant amendment, clearer definitions, stronger procedural safeguards to prevent misuse.
Mandating prior judicial sanction before arrest under this law, that's another suggestion.
Yes. Ultimately, the challenge is balancing fundamental free expression, a cornerstone of democracy, with safeguarding national integrity and security.
And there's also the option of using alternative, more precise legal provisions like IPC 153A or 505.
Right, for promoting enmity or public mischief. That's another possibility.
Okay, let's move into the important realm of environment, ecology, and infrastructure, starting with some interesting news from Bengaluru. The city recently launched its first fleet of electric double-decker buses. An e-double-decker is basically electric, 2 levels, higher passenger capacity, all electric.
What makes this particularly significant is Bengaluru's demonstrated commitment to clean urban mobility and tackling traffic congestion. Introducing these buses aligns with broader sustainability goals, state and city level, and the national push for EVs.
Exactly. Operated by BMTC, part of efforts to reduce carbon footprint and ease traffic. Supports the National Electric Mobility Mission Plan, too. For prelims, worth noting, EV promotion schemes like FAME. Key e-bus makers: Tata, Ashok Leyland, Electra. Benefits are clear: lower emissions, noise, potential long-term cost savings. Mumbai also recently reintroduced electric double-deckers.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, urban India faces huge challenges: air pollution, congestion, rising fuel costs. Electric public transport offers a more sustainable path. Advantages are clear: reduced carbon footprint, efficient road use, lower operating costs compared to diesel.
But there are challenges, right?
Definitely. Need significant investment in charging infrastructure, concerns about battery degradation, recycling, and the higher initial purchase costs. Key stakeholders include transport authorities, residents, manufacturers, environmental groups.
So, what does the future look like for expanding this? Seems clear we need significant expansion of charging infrastructure, strategically placed.
Right, and intelligent scheduling, route optimization to maximize efficiency.
Public-private partnerships could help scale up adoption financially.
Very likely. And public awareness campaigns are essential to highlight benefits and encourage ridership.
Okay, moving on to biodiversity news. A brand new species of tree frog discovered in the Western Ghats. Tree frogs, for those who don't know, are amphibians known for climbing, usually found in forests.
What makes this discovery so exciting is that the Western Ghats is already a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a global biodiversity hotspot. Finding an unknown species there just underscores its incredible richness, and that there's still so much to learn about its unique flora and fauna.
Absolutely. Found in the Karnataka-Kerala region of the Ghats. Distinct based on unique calls, color patterns, genetics. Belongs to the bush frog group, Rheorchestes. Highlights the region's remarkable biodiversity. For prelims, remember the Western Ghats geography states covered. UNESCO hotspot status. Notable fauna like the lion-tailed macaque. Frog groups like Rheorchestes, Micryxalis, Nectobatrachus. And relevant laws, Wildlife Protection Act, Biodiversity Act.
Connecting this discovery to the broader context, India has a remarkably high percentage of the world's frog species. Continued discoveries highlight our biodiversity richness, but also persistent gaps in scientific exploration and documentation, especially in sensitive areas like the Western Ghats. But this biodiversity faces serious threats. Habitat loss from plantations, tourism, infrastructure, climate change impacts, plus insufficient funding for research and conservation, and a shortage of trained taxonomists.
Yeah.
This discovery adds to our biodiversity data, helps understand ecosystems, and stresses the need for stronger conservation. Stakeholders, scientists, conservationists, government agencies.
So, what's the way forward to protect this biodiversity? Seems crucial to promote more field studies, increase funding for taxonomy and ecology.
Yes, and strengthening the designation and management of eco-sensitive zones in the Ghats is vital.
Involving local communities in conservation, maybe through incentives?
Very important for long-term success. And enhancing our national biodiversity databases for tracking and protection.
Okay, let's shift focus to the financial realm. The RBI recently reiterated its stance. Private cryptocurrencies pose serious risks to macroeconomic stability. For prelims, crypto is digital virtual currency, uses cryptography, decentralized. Bitcoin's a prime example.
What's critical from the RBI's view is the potential for cryptos to destabilize the broader economy. Because they operate largely outside regulated systems, lack central control, they pose threats. Financial stability, facilitating illicit finance, potential dollarization, eroding the central bank's control over monetary policy.
Exactly. RBI's stance seems firm, advocating a ban, not just regulation, at the same time actively promoting its own central bank digital currency, the EU, or digital rupee. For prelims, understand the key differences between private crypto and CBDC, no RBI's official stance. Globally, approaches vary widely. China's digital yuan, EU exploring a digital euro. India waits a comprehensive bill, but currently taxes crypto gains heavily.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, the risks are manifold. Financial integrity threats, money laundering, terror financing, consumer protection risks due to volatility, lack of regulation, currency substitution undermining monetary policy, tech risks like cyber fraud, exchange breaches.
Right.
Globally, it's a spectrum from permissive regulation, U.S., to bans, China. India's taxing while working on a framework, but acknowledge opportunities too. Blockchain tech applications beyond currency, supply chains, land records. India's digital infrastructure could support a CBDC efficiently.
What does the likely way forward look like, according to RBI and others? Seems establishing a clear regulatory framework, risk-based supervision is essential.
Absolutely. Actively promoting and securely implementing the CBDC, the EO, with robust cybersecurity. That's a top RBI priority.
Enhancing public awareness and investor protection through financial literacy is crucial too, isn't it?
Definitely. And strong international coordination on crypto policies, given its global nature.
And encouraging blockchain innovation, but with safeguards for consumers and the financial system. Seems balanced.
Finding that balance is key.
Now, let's turn to an interesting environmental conservation effort in Karnataka. The state aims to make the Ranebennur Blackbuck Sanctuary eucalyptus-free to help the critically endangered Great Indian Bustard eucalyptus. Fast-growing, commercially valuable, but very water-intensive, often ecologically unsuitable in drier regions.
Yeah, the crucial thing is the broader ecological impact of eucalyptus plantations, especially in dry landscapes. Commercially valuable, sure, but high water demand can lead to soil degradation, groundwater depletion negatively affecting native ecosystems, cascading effects on local biodiversity that depends on natural vegetation.
Exactly. And the Great Indian Bustard, GE, critically endangered, highest protection under Schedule of the Wildlife Protection Act, Ranebennur Sanctuary was historically a significant GE habitat. Karnataka's goal: remove non-native eucalyptus to restore native grasslands, the GIB's essential habitat, hoping they'll return. Eucalyptus monocultures were a major factor in degrading these grasslands. For prelims, no GIB's IUCN status, critically endangered, legal protection, primary current habitats, mainly Rajasthan, Gujarat, historically, Karnataka, major threats and conservation programs.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, The gib's decline is a stark reminder of habitat loss impacts on vulnerable wildlife. Agriculture expansion, monoculture plantations like eucalyptus reduce their grassland habitats.
Right.
A core issue is the lack of formal recognition and protection for grasslands in India compared to forests. This Rana Better initiative highlights potential conflict between commercial forestry and conservation needs. Also brings local livelihoods into focus. Gib is a crucial indicator species for arid semi-arid grassland health. Reviving its population signifies progress in grassland restoration.
So what are the key steps forward for this effort? Systematically removing eucalyptus, replacing with native grasses and shrubs suitable for gib and blackbuck.
Right. Formally declaring Rana Better a priority habitat for grassland species would also help.
Actively involving local communities in restoration, providing incentives, alternative livelihoods.
Crucial for long-term success. Exploring expanding translocation captive breeding for gib in Karnataka could also be considered.
And stricter monitoring and enforcement of plantation policies in sensitive zones statewide to prevent future degradation.
A focused, long-term effort is needed.
Moving on to another environmental challenge, coastal erosion is reportedly a serious threat to Karnataka's shoreline, leading to renewed emphasis on the Karnataka Shoreline Management Plan, Shore. Coastal erosion, wearing away of land along the coast by natural forces, waves, tides, often worsened by human activities.
What makes coastal erosion particularly concerning is its multifaceted impact. Direct loss of land and infrastructure, yes, but also threats to coastal biodiversity, turtle nesting sites, mangroves, and severe socioeconomic consequences for coastal communities.
Exactly. Shore aims to study, monitor, and implement measures, structural, non-structural, to mitigate erosion. It's being revived due to intensified erosion in coastal districts, UDB, DK, UK. Worsened by climate change impacts, sea level rise, extreme weather, and unregulated coastal development. The revived plan includes more satellite monitoring, early warning systems, community involvement and management. For prelims, general idea of Karnataka's coastline length features, relevant schemes laws like CRZ notification, ICZM project.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, coastal erosion is a growing problem across India, reflecting broader trends influenced by climate change and unsustainable activities. Issues like sea level rise, infrastructure disrupting sediment flow, excessive sand mining contribute significantly.
Yeah.
Ecological impacts go beyond habitat loss, increased salinity in coastal farms. Socioeconomic impacts, displacement, property damage, tourism threats, often institutional gaps too, clearance delays, overlapping jurisdictions in coastal management.
So what does the way forward look like for tackling this? Seems like a comprehensive approach, combining nature-based solutions, mangrove restoration, beach nourishment with stronger early warning, and satellite monitoring.
Absolutely key. Actively engaging and empowering local coastal communities in planning, implementation, and maintenance is crucial for effectiveness.
Ensuring strict CRZ compliance and better integrating Shore with broader ICZM plans and state climate action plans. That's vital for a holistic response.
A coordinated effort is definitely required.
Now, some positive news on sustainable finance. American Express has reportedly joined India's program of the Santhara. Sustainable finance, broadly, integrates ESG, environmental, social, governance criteria into investment decisions for sustainable growth.
What's significant about a major global player like Amex joining is the growing recognition within mainstream finance of integrating sustainability. This partnership signals potentially more financial support for green projects in India.
Exactly. Program Masantara, launched by MoECC with financial institutions, aims to promote green investments. Amex joining is intended to help finance low-carbon ventures, renewables, waste management, climate-smart agriculture. Also focuses on capacity building for Indian MSMEs to adopt sustainable practices. For prelims, there are terms like ESG, green bonds, relevant Indian policies and APCC, and international frameworks, UNPRI. Other Indian initiatives like RBI's Sustainable Finance Roadmap, SEBI's BRSR framework.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, India needs substantial climate finance for its sustainability goals. The financial sector's active involvement is crucial for the green transition.
Right.
This partnership offers opportunities, mainstreaming green finance, supporting sustainable livelihoods, fostering PPPs in clean energy and climate resilience. But challenges exist. Lack of a clear national taxonomy for sustainable activities, risk of greenwashing, limited SME awareness, and access to green finance. Key stakeholders, MoEFCC, RBI, SEBI, IFIs, MSMEs.
Cho, what's the likely way forward to strengthen sustainable finance in India? Creating a clear national taxonomy of sustainable activities seems vital for clarity.
Yes, and mandating more comprehensive climate risk disclosures for larger companies could drive responsible investment.
Strengthening green bond certification, expanding green credit guarantees for MSMEs.
Those would be beneficial steps. And fostering greater international collaboration on climate finance and tech transfer is crucial, too.
Okay, let's turn to space technology. ISRO has reportedly signed an OU with Karnataka to boost collaboration. For prelims, ISRO is India's space agency. MOU is a formal cooperation agreement. Space tech covers technologies for outer space activities.
What's noteworthy here is the potential to leverage space tech for various developmental purposes within Karnataka.
Mm.
Urban planning, agriculture, disaster management.
Mm.
This collaboration can accelerate practical application of space solutions at the grassroots level.
Exactly. This MOU aims to promote collaborative efforts in space tech-based development and research in the state. Focus on establishing space tech innovation hubs, supporting startups in aerospace satellite tech, fostering academic industry partnerships. Karnataka, already strong in space defense, gains from better access to satellite data for planning, precision farming, disaster management. For prelims, remember ISRO HQ and key centers, URC, ISEC, are in Bengaluru. National bodies supporting startups in space and SIL.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, it underscores space's growing importance in India's socioeconomic development. This partnership solidifies Karnataka's position as a leading space tech hub, potentially creating high-skilled jobs, boosting economic growth.
Huge opportunities, right?
Vast and diverse. Smart cities, climate monitoring, teleeducation medicine, private academic collaboration, job creation, but challenges too. Ensuring skilled talent supply, funding for startups, IP rights data sharing issues, balancing commercialization with national security.
So, what are the key steps to maximize benefits? Establishing dedicated space tech parks with infrastructure and incentives seems helpful.
Yes, and promoting university curriculum reforms to strengthen aerospace satellite sciences for talent building.
Actively encouraging international collaborations for knowledge, tech, funding.
Highly beneficial.
Yeah.
And effectively leveraging space tech applications across sectors like rural development, forestry, coastal monitoring for widespread positive impacts. Harnessing space for state development is the goal.
Now, moving to urban development. Karnataka reportedly greenlit an integrated township project at Bidadi near Bengaluru. Integrated township. Large-scale, self-sufficient development with housing, commercial, schools, parks, healthcare, all planned. Kayadi is the State Industrial Development Board.
What's significant about projects like Bidadi is their potential to address challenges of rapid, often unplanned urbanization, especially near big metros like Bengaluru. Creating self-contained, potentially more sustainable communities outside congested centers can contribute to balanced regional development.
Exactly. The aim at Bidadi, decongest Bengaluru, promote sustainable urban development, includes housing, schools, parks, hospitals, offices, clean mobility options, aligns with the policy push for planned satellite townships around major hubs. For prelims, be aware of urban schemes like smart cities, AMRT, planning tools like master plans, concepts like transit-oriented development.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, Bengaluru faces immense pressure on infrastructure due to growth. Developing peripheral nodes like Bidadi can distribute this burden, promote balanced regional growth, generate local jobs and infrastructure outside the main city. If planned well, they can support sustainable urbanization, green transport, integrated amenities, reducing commuting needs. But significant challenges. Complex land acquisition, fair resettlement or rehabilitation, ensuring affordability inclusivity, risk of becoming real estate focused rather than community-oriented.
Right.
Stakeholders, planners, local communities, developers, government authorities.
So what's the best way forward for success and sustainability? Seems crucial to adopt inclusive design, diverse housing, including affordable options.
Absolutely. And ensuring excellent last-mile connectivity with reliable public transport is vital.
Transparent, well-regulated PPPs with clear monitoring and accountability.
Very important. And encouraging climate-resilient architecture, ample green spaces contributes to long-term environmental and social sustainability.
Linking township development with urban employment and skilling for locals helps create a thriving local economy too.
Holistic planning is essential.
Okay, let's discuss Karnataka's recently launched Circular Economy Policy 2025. For prelims, circular economy aims to eliminate waste, maximize resource use. EPR is extended producer responsibility. Waste to value means converting waste to resource energy.
What's significant about Karnataka launching its own policy is the proactive, forward-thinking approach to sustainable resource management. It acknowledges the limits and impacts of the traditional linear take, make, dispose model, aims for a more resilient, resource-efficient, environmentally responsible economic system for the state.
Exactly. The policy provides a roadmap, key focus: reducing plastic waste, mandating industry recycling targets, promoting bioeconomy green jobs, incentives for circular innovation R&D. For prelims, understand core principles, 3 Rs, designed for longevity, industrial symbiosis. Relevant national policies, Swachh Bharat, National Resource Efficiency Policy, state institutions, case BCB, depth of industries, invest Karnataka.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, India generates vast amounts of waste. Transitioning to circularity is crucial for sustainable development and environmental goals. Karnataka, a major industrial state, has a key role in leading this transition.
Expected outcomes.
Reduced environmental footprint, greener supply chains, decentralized waste management, but challenges too. Public awareness for behavioral change, transition costs for businesses, monitoring enforcement gaps.
Aligns with global efforts like SDG 12, responsible consumption production, and India's climate commitments, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So what are the key steps for implementation? Setting up material recovery facilities, promoting green industrial clusters for infrastructure.
Right, encouraging product redesign, durability, repairability, recyclability, promoting zero waste certification for industries.
Fostering PPPs for innovative waste valorization startups.
Crucial. Integrating circular economy principles into education and skilling programs helps foster a sustainability culture.
And robust digital dashboards, ESG reporting by businesses for monitoring and accountability.
A systemic change is needed.
Now, let's touch upon a public health issue. Reports indicate high leprosy prevalence in parts of Karnataka. For prelims, leprosy, Hansen's disease, is a chronic infectious disease. NLEP is the National Leprosy Eradication Program. Endemic means regularly found in an area.
What's concerning about continued high prevalence in specific areas is it suggests persistent challenges in reaching vulnerable populations and fully implementing national programs. Despite India's overall progress nationally, indicates underlying issues,
Yeah.
healthcare access, awareness, maybe ongoing stigma in those regions.
Exactly. India achieved leprosy elimination nationally in 2005, less than 1 case per 10,000. But parts of Karnataka, especially marginalized communities, still see higher rates. Reasons flagged: underreporting, delayed diagnosis, social stigma. Highlights the urgent need to strengthen NLEP, particularly in North Karnataka. For prelims, no basic leprosy facts cause transmission. India's elimination status, 2005. NLEP, MDT treatment, associated laws, repealed Lepers Act, relevant RPWD Act provisions.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, continued leprosy challenges underscore deep-seated issues. Stigma, healthcare gaps, poor health-seeking behaviors in vulnerable communities. Socioeconomic impact can be severe. Discrimination, mental health challenges, public health implications, suggests potential weaknesses in primary care, challenges broader SDGs related to health for all.
So, what are the key steps forward to address this? Strengthening active surveillance, community-based campaigns for early detection seem crucial.
Yes, ensuring timely access to full MDT course, consistent follow-up to prevent disabilities.
Targeted anti-stigma awareness programs involving community leaders, healthcare workers.
Essential to break down misconceptions. Reduce discrimination. Integrating leprosy care with primary health, engaging ASHs improves outreach.
And promoting vocational rehab, skill training for affected individuals helps reintegration.
A multi-pronged public health response is needed.
Okay, let's shift to archaeology. Excavations at Pansipari Bazaar in Hampi unearthed rare artifacts. For prelims, excavation uncovers buried historical remains. Hampi, Karnataka, Tungabhadra River was Vijayanagara capital UNESCO site. Pansipari Bazaar was a market area.
What makes these finds exciting is their potential to give new insights into daily life, commerce, social structures of the Vijayanagara Empire, a period of immense historical importance in South India. These artifacts help reconstruct a more detailed understanding.
Exactly. Artifacts include terracotta figurines, stone weights, coins, trade tokens, shedding light on Vijayanagara's vibrant commercial and social life. Excavation by ASI and Karnataka Archaeology Department for prelims.
No.
Hampi facts.
Right.
Capital River, UNESCO year 1986, rulers. Archaeological bodies, ASI and towns, architectural styles, Dravidian.
Connecting these finds to historical context, Hampi was a major cosmopolitan trading hub, attracting merchants from Asia, even Europe. Excavations offer insights into economic activities, types of goods traded, diverse communities involved. Conservation-wise, Archaeology preserves less explored zones, helps understand historical urban planning. But challenges remain in managing Hampi. Encroachments, tourism pressure, sustained funding for research conservation beyond main monuments.
Toe, what are the key steps forward based on these discoveries? Digitally documenting artifacts is crucial for preservation and study.
Yes, expanding excavations to other less explored areas could yield more valuable info.
Using findings for educational tourism, promoting local history understanding.
Great potential there. Integrating discoveries into school curricula, cultural outreach increases public awareness,
And promoting community-led conservation helps protect heritage for the future.
making the past relevant today.
Finally, let's discuss the Karnataka Space Policy 2024-2029, recently unveiled. For prelims, space policy outlines government strategy for space activities. New space economy refers to increasing private sector involvement.
What's significant about Karnataka launching its own policy is recognizing its leading role in India's space sector and the ambition to strengthen its position as a global space tech hub, aligning with national goals.
Exactly. Karnataka's first comprehensive space policy. Objectives include supporting space tech startup SMSMEs, establishing space parks innovation hubs for infrastructure ecosystem, fostering partnerships, ISRO, private academic, for launch services, data use, satellite tech development, provides grants, subsidies, mentorship to boost entrepreneurship.
Uh-huh.
For prelims, remember key ISRO centers in Karnataka, national bodies like InSpace, NSIL, overarching Indian space policy 2023.
Connecting this policy to the bigger picture, Karnataka hosts a majority of India's space tech startups. Bengaluru is the space capital. Policy aims to capitalize on this ecosystem, foster more growth.
Huge opportunities again.
Immense. High-value jobs, STEM education boost, international collaborations investments. Challenges, too. Skilled talent availability, potential regulatory overlaps, state central, dependence on central infra for launches, etc.
Aligns with India's goal to increase its share of the global space economy, encourages PPPs.
Yes, very much so.
So, what are essential steps for implementing this ambitious policy? Establishing dedicated space tech incubation hubs linked with universities' research institutes seems vital.
Yes, for nurturing talent, supporting early ventures, facilitating IP protection, helping companies get global patents, encourages innovation.
Actively integrating space applications into state sectors, agriculture, disaster management, demonstrates real-world benefits.
Clearly. Promoting international collaborations for knowledge, research funding is also highly beneficial.
And focusing on building robust supply chains for space-grade materials components within Karnataka strengthens the whole ecosystem.
Building a complete space ecosystem in the state.
That was a comprehensive deep dive into some of the most crucial news for your UPSC preparation on this 24th of April, 2025. We've covered a lot of important ground, from the complexities of international treaties like the Indus Waters Treaty, to the exciting potential of India's rapidly growing space sector, and the significant steps in social policy and environmental conservation, particularly within Karnataka.
Indeed. The developments we've discussed today really highlight the dynamic nature of India's progress across numerous important fronts, ranging from navigating complex international relationships and fostering greater technological self-reliance, to implementing forward-thinking social policies and prioritizing the critical area of environmental sustainability. Each of these areas presents both significant opportunities and considerable challenges that are absolutely crucial for all UPSC aspirants to understand, holistically for your upcoming exams.
Subscribe for daily updates and drop a comment to share your thoughts. Download the audio or transcript for revision. Jai Hind.